And remember, just because your blood work comes back that, oh, I'm within range, the range is built on standard American. So it takes everybody who gets blood work, and who usually gets blood work? Sick people, right? Everybody who gets blood work puts it right in the middle. Okay, this is where you should be. You are listening to this, you are watching this because you want to be better than, the lowest life expectancy at birth rate in the United States, the highest rate for multiple chronic conditions, the highest rate of death for avoidable causes, and an obesity rate that is nearly half of our population. You want to be better than that. So you don't want to be the average.
No, and functional health standards are much more in line with being healthy. So you absolutely want to be in those parameters, getting the blood work, asking in general for that extensive list, or getting your list or my list. You'll get all the information and more. So it's great to start there and really just see, because that's going to lead you to the root cause of all the things. I was just reading recently, I grew up as a kid kind of always susceptible to strep throat. And as a kid, my parents, that's Debbie, she gets strep, right? And a lot of kids, maybe it's bloody noses, whatever it is, don't accept any of it. None of it is normal. It might be common. You know how I think my husband grew up bloody noses. So when he used to get them, oh, Brian gets bloody noses. We shouldn't accept any of that. None of it is normal. You shouldn't just be able to call the doctor and say, oh, Debbie has strep throat again. Let's get her some amoxicillin. That's what we used to do. And I used to, oh, great. I don't even have to go see him.
Right.
He just knows. It's so interesting when you look back and how much more we know now. But even a bloody nose, it's something's going on. Your body's trying to tell you something.
And when we're talking about your 6 minutes with your doctor, it could be any doctor. So for instance, I'm going to my OBGYN next week and I haven't had blood work in a while. I will ask her. And even if it's not something like within her scope, why would, a gynecologist doesn't necessarily need to do a lipid panel on you. She can order it. Yeah. So I'm going to ask her for all this blood work. Number 3, we kind of touched on, but let's touch on it a little bit more. Okay. Glucose monitoring, A1C monitoring. Why is that important to talk to your doctor about?
So, you want to be sure, there are the different levels, diabetes, pre-diabetes, and all of it is influenced, most of it by food. There's some genetic component to it, but
food, and though I will say stress and movement. So if you're trying to get those numbers down, walking after a meal and reducing your stress are really important.
Yeah. And the overall metabolic health, right? That's what you want to stay on top of. So seeing how your body responds to food, seeing how you fluctuate throughout the day, there is a certain healthy range of 70 to 140. You want to keep your glucose pretty much within that range throughout the day. And if you're spiking up above and you're staying in it too long and not coming back down, there's something inefficient happening, because typically in a healthy body, you eat food, your glucose goes up. That's normal. Insulin is released. Insulin pushes it into the cells where you use it as fuel. So it's part of the mechanism of the body. If it's flooded with too much sugar, if there's too much insulin, and then the insulin's like, hey, wait, I can't keep up. What's happening? That's what leads to disease and inflammation and chronic issues that many people are facing and suffering from. Yeah. So this information is real time. And you see, I need to not eat that again. I need to cut back a little. Ooh, now I'm in range. And if you, for 2 weeks in this example, wear this monitor and you focus on staying in range and you respond to, what the real-time results are, that ties to A1C. So your glucose levels directly correlates to your A1C. So if you're in range, 117 average glucose number is within the healthy range of A1C. So it sort of dumbs it down too, where you don't have to do I do all the mathematical piece of it. Yeah. This actually spells it out. Average glucose, try to stay under 117 and you have a healthy A1C, you're good to go.
And what does that mean for you? Well, they say that Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes. Yeah. It is really, really influenced by those numbers. Your gut health has a big impact on those numbers as well. Heart health, it's a big impact on that as well. The thing that I do want to caution you about is, okay, so maybe you started wearing a glucose monitor. Maybe you do bring these numbers to your doctor and then their first reaction is, let's put you on a drug. I want you to make sure that you talk about lifestyle interventions first, right? Before you go on a drug, because there's always side effects and problems with that as well.
Oh my gosh. And to share a quick story, I was saying to Kerstin, I had a client recently who is experiencing hot flashes. She's 60 and in the middle of the night, she's just, but it's not terrible. And, she brought it up to her doctor. Immediately, here are, the pills to take. I'll give you some free samples. Then after that, it's going to be $1,000. And she said, wait. Like, I'm not dying. Like, she just wanted her to know all the things, when a doctor says what's going on, she just wanted to share. And immediately, here's the drug. And the crazy thing is, which was crazy to my client, follow up. And then we'll have to, once you take these for a month, then we're going to have to check your liver.
Because it could impact your liver.
And she's like, hold on. And then she called me. And I'm so thrilled because we're trying other interventions. And she doesn't think that she needs that right now. So in her heart, she's honoring something that's in her truth, right? She wants to explore some other options because she doesn't feel like it's terrible. And she knows that's not really in her heart, the route that she wants to take right now.
Yeah. And by the way, if that is you, so doing the 3-2-1 before bedtime, making sure you're not eating 3 hours before bedtime, making sure you're turning off your brain a couple hours before bedtime, not drinking. Drinking is going to make you wake up hot in the middle of the night. Now, it's also very hormonal. I love personally, for anybody who's going through hot flashes, FemGuard HF from Designs for Health. That's my favorite. I've taken it myself. I went through like a weird swing. I'm in perimenopause, so I skipped a period for a couple of months and I started getting hot at night and I was like, what is going on? And because in perimenopause, you're going to go like this for a while. So I started taking it and it was fantastic. So
she's on that. That's what she's going to start taking. She's got it. So,
and that is not $1,000 a month or something that's going to impact.
And we don't have to test your liver after.
Number 4, food scanning and label reading. Why do I need to take that to my doctor?
Well, because that is a very interesting experiment. Again, we can be fooled by marketing and labels and we think we're doing all the right things, yet we have the bloat, yet we have the belly, yet we have all the discomfort and low energy. So scanning food is more for yourself. I think, in terms of tying it to the doctor, being more in control and aware. Like there's an app that I love, the Yuka app. Did you try it with Ben?
I haven't yet.
I find it very helpful. A lot of my friends and family and clients do as well. Yuka, Y-U-K-A. And even if you download it, it's free. You can start scanning the labels, even in the canned goods and items that you have in your home right now. And it's eye-opening, the ingredients that are actually in the products that if you read the label, you would think this is fantastic. But the reality is there are chemicals and fillers and it'll rate it, it'll color code it. So you can start becoming more educated on what you actually are putting in your body. And then that will in turn play out in your blood work, right? As you start to switch out different foods and try to find alternatives, you'll also try, I'm sure you'll feel better as well, but it'll translate and you'll be able to talk to the doctor about different changes you might have made because of where you're at right now that, hopefully are going to certainly improve.
So my rule of thumb for everybody is 5 ingredients or less and 5 grams of sugar or less. And those 5 ingredients, where they grew or where they moved, which would be, like they lived, like it's an animal or so it's a plant, it's an animal, it's those things. And so if you're reading those 5 ingredients and you can't explain them or pronounce them, and there's more than 5 grams of sugar, I would get rid of that package. But even those ingredients can do different things to you, which is why we go back to the glucose monitor and things like that as well.